A Christmas Garland by Anne Perry. Narrated by Simon Prebble. Lieutenant Victor Narroway walked across the square in the cool evening air. It was mid-December, a couple of weeks before Christmas. At home in England it might already be snowing, but here in India there would not even be a frost. No one had ever seen snow in Cawnpore. At any other year it would have been a wonderful season, one of rejoicing, recalling happy memories of the past and looking forward to the future, perhaps with a little nostalgia for those loved ones who were far away. But this year of 1857 was different. The fire of mutiny had scorched across the land, touching everything with death. He came to the outer door of one of the least damaged parts of the barracks and knocked. Immediately it was opened, and he stepped inside. Oil lamps sent a warming yellow light over the battered walls and the few remnants of the once secure occupation, as they had been before the siege, and then its relief. There was little furniture left whole: a bullet-scarred desk, 3 chairs that had seen better days, a bookcase, and several cupboards, one with only half a door. Colonel Latimer was standing in the middle of the room. He was a tall and spare man, well into his 40s. A dozen Indian summers had burned his skin brown, but there was little colour beneath it to alleviate the weariness and the marks of exhaustion. He regarded the 20-year-old lieutenant in front of him with something like an apologetic look. "I have an unpleasant duty for you, Narroway," he said quietly. "It must be done, and done well. You're new to this regiment, but you have an excellent record. You are the right man for this job." Narroway felt a chill, in spite of the mild evening. His father had purchased a commission for him, and he had served a brief training in England before being sent out to India. He had arrived a year ago, just before the issue of the fateful cartridges at Dam in January, which later in the spring had erupted in mutiny. The rumour had been that the bullets were coated with animal grease, in the part required to be bitten into in order to open the cartridge for use. The Hindus had been told it was beef fat. Cows were sacred, and to kill one was blasphemy. To put cow fat to the lips was damnation. The Muslims had been told it was pork fat, and to them the pig was an unclean animal. To put that grease to your lips would damn your soul, although for an entirely different reason. Of course, that was not the only cause of the mutiny by hundreds of thousands of Indians against the rule of a few thousand Englishmen employed by the East India Company. The reasons were more complex, far more deeply rooted in the social inequities and the cultural offences of a foreign rule. The bullets had merely been the spark that had ignited the fire. Also, it was true, as far as Narroway could gather, that the mutiny was far from universal. It was violent and terrible only in small parts of the country. Thousands of miles remained untouched by it, lying peaceful, if a little uneasy, under the winter sun. But the province of Sindh, on the Hindustan plains, had seen much of the very worst of it, Cawnpore and Lucknow in particular. General Colin Campbell, a hero from the recent war in the Crimea, had fought to relieve the siege at Lucknow. A week ago he and his men had defeated 25,000 rebels here at Cawnpore. Was it the beginning of a turning of the tide, or just a glimmer of light that would not last? Narroway stood to attention, breathing deeply to calm himself. Why had he come to Latimer's notice? "Yes, sir," he said between his teeth. Latimer smiled bleakly. There was no light in his face, no warmth of approval. "You will be aware of the recent escape of the prisoner Dulip Singh," he went on, "and that his guard, Chutor Singh, was hacked to death in the course of Dulip's escape." Narroway's mouth was dry. Of course he knew it. Everyone in the Cawnpore station knew it. "Yes, sir," he said obediently, forcing the words out. "It's been investigated." Latimer's jaw was tight, and a small muscle jumped in his temple.